Today is MLK Day, and unfortunately, on this day, a debate rages on regarding just how racist our president is. The comments that he made in regard to El Salvador, Haiti, and African countries, calling them so-called shitholes, is something that people are still talking about, and the president has now denied that he has said it, even though Senator Durbin stands by his statements that he did in fact say what he said. And there are now other lawmakers who are coming to Trump's defense saying, no, he didn't say shithole, he said something else. Now, before we get into all the details of who said what, let's take a look at Trump's denial after a press pool reporter asked him whether or not he made these statements.
Comments the other day made it harder. Did you see what various senators in the room said about my comments? They were made. No, I'm not a racist. I am the least racist person you have ever interviewed. That I can tell you.
Because he knows every individual that reporter has ever interviewed in his lifetime. And no, you are the most racist president we've had in modern times, at least.
Yeah, so who says things like I'm the least racist person you've ever known? Usually a racist.
A stable genius says those kinds of things, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, look, I don't want, every time this comes up, I don't want to relitigate his whole history of racism. I'll just leave it at.
I do.
Yeah, central part, yeah, all right.
No, I actually want to thank the New York Times for compiling the definitive list of all the racist things that Trump has said. That list is so long that I unfortunately cannot recount everything for you, but here are the doozies, okay? And I tried to keep this as short as possible, but it was quite a task. He began his 2016 presidential campaign with a speech disparaging Mexican immigrants as criminals and rapists. In December of 2015, Trump called for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States, including refusing to readmit Muslim American citizens who were outside of the country at the time. In June of 2017, Trump said 15,000 recent immigrants from Haiti, quote, all have AIDS, and that 40,000 Nigerians, once seeing the United States, would never go back to their huts in Africa. He spent years suggesting that the nation's first black president was born not in the United States, but in Kenya, a lie that Trump still has not acknowledged. Trump falsely claimed that President Obama issued a statement for Kwanzaa, but failed to issue one for Christmas. Like,
come
so,
on.
you know what? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He didn't call those countries shithole countries, okay? But how do you answer to the long list of terrible racist things that you've said and owned up to?
Yeah, to me, the Central Park Five is the worst of the worst. It's 5 black kids. They were accused of rape. Donald Trump took out a full-page ad calling for their execution. It turns out that they didn't do it. And years later, we find out definitively they didn't do it. They caught the real rapist with his DNA, etc. They let those guys go at that point. Donald Trump said, I don't care. I still think they should be in prison. Why? But we know for a fact that they are innocent. He doesn't care. It's 5 black kids attacked, in his mind, attacked a white woman. They must have done something. I mean, why? If there was 5 white right-wingers from Kansas who were falsely accused, and we found out later, oh my God, they didn't do it. You know what I'd say? Let him out of prison. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Let him out of prison.
What kind of monster would call for the death penalty for people who have been exonerated?
He's the worst of the worst. Anyway, I don't give him any benefit of that. He
neither do I.
Definitely said it, and we're gonna prove it in a hilarious excuse in a minute, but Anna's got more.
Yes, I do have more. I just want to read you a couple more just to refresh your memory. He frequently criticizes prominent African Americans for being unpatriotic, ungrateful, and disrespectful, and has referred to NFL players as sons of bitches.
But the ones taking a knee, which are almost all black.
Exactly. He called Puerto Ricans who criticize his administration's response to Hurricane Maria, by the way, Puerto Ricans who are in fact American citizens, he called them politically motivated ingrates.
Ingrates, that's really classy.
He has called some of the white nationalists in Charlottesville, Virginia, very fine people. Trump pardoned Joe Arpaio, the Arizona sheriff sanctioned for racially profiling Latinos and for keeping immigrants in brutal prison conditions. In November of 2017, during a meeting with Navajo veterans of World War II, Trump mocked Senator Elizabeth Warren as Pocahontas. Also, don't forget that Trump's real estate company tried to avoid renting apartments to African Americans in the 1970s and gave preferential treatment to whites, and that's according to the federal government. So I was being incredibly sarcastic when I said that I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. The point that I'm trying to make is that his comments about El Salvador and Haiti and African countries were not that shocking to me. Because for me, this is par for the course when it comes to Donald Trump. This is not surprising, this is to be expected. This will not be the last time he says something terrible and racist. And it not only has ramifications in regard to race relations in the US, it has ramifications internationally, okay? He is not gonna be an effective leader if he's a piece of shit like this. And it's unfortunate that we get involved in these debates regarding whether or not he's racist when the proof is right here in front of us, not from one instance or two instances, but from several throughout decades.
Okay, and I don't want people to misunderstand it because I think the Democrats often do a bad job here and they try to separate Trump from the rest of the Republicans. Like, oh, the rest of the Republicans are okay. No, they're not. So right now you got Senator Perdue and Cotton lying for Donald Trump. By the way, later he'll throw them under the bus and admit that he said it, and then they'll be stuck holding the bag, okay? But they're saying they don't recall whether he said it. It's not like it happened 20 years ago, it happened a couple of days ago. What's there to recall or not recall? That's the poorest excuse I've ever heard.
Senator Lindsey Graham, who was also there and who also heard it and also confirmed that he referred to those countries as shitholes, reiterated today that his memory has not evolved and that he heard what he heard.
Okay, yeah, I love the people whose memories evolve in the span of a couple of days. So that is a Republican senator saying, yes, Dick Durbin is right, he said it. That's two senators, bipartisan. He clearly said it, of course he said it. It's in keeping with everything that he's ever done, but I'm gonna go further. Look, that Kwanzaa comment, so it's a lie. First of all, if you believe Donald Trump on anything, you're an idiot. All he does is lie. So he says the first black president we ever had celebrated Kwanzaa, but refused to celebrate Christmas officially. Now, why would you make up a lie like that? Because you're a goddamn racist, okay? So look, I think the word racist is charged. I get it. And people are like, it's a heavy charge, let's put it that way, okay? So you shouldn't make it lightly. We are not making it lightly. He has an entire lifetime of discriminating against African Americans and saying abhorrent things about blacks, Latinos, and on and on and on. And if you can't see that, man, you don't want to see it. And I wonder why you don't want to see it. It's because it's glaringly obvious. So
I think everyone, including those that continuously defend him, know that he said it. And they might publicly deny it, but internally they know he said it, and those who are defending him kind of love that he said it. And then there are those who don't even deny that he says it and make excuses or defend that kind of statement. Well, he's just calling it like it is. I mean, that's what you heard over and over again during the election. He's just calling it like it is. You think that it's a good idea to go after allies of ours and refer to their countries as shitholes?
You think he's not a blogger. He's not some random alt-right dude on Twitter. He's the president of the United States. You think it makes sense for the president to refer to a whole continent as shithole and then turn around and go, what do you mean? I just called all of Africa a shithole. Why would that be perceived as racist? I can't quite tell. Did you make a distinction between the Nigerian economy and the economy of Botswana? Come on, he couldn't name Botswana if his life depended on it. Okay, no, he's like, the Africa, shithole. Whoa, how could that be racist? Listen, if you're defending him on that, I get it, dude, I get it. You don't like him despite the fact that he's a racist. You like him because he's a racist. For you, that's not the bug, that's the feature. Just say it, own up to it. Why won't you just come out and be honest? I thought you guys were so brave. All those alpha males of the right wing. What are you cowering in the bushes for? Just pop out and declare what you are. Say, yeah, I don't like blacks and Latinos. I think they're inferior, right? Just say it, and then we'll be done with it. It's so obvious that that's why you like Trump. What else has he accomplished? Tax cuts for the rich, that's why you're rooting for him? Why, are you a millionaire or a billionaire? No, you like that he's racist.
So there were some comments from those on the right, essentially confirming what he had said and also criticizing him. So I do want to give them some credit for that. Eric Erickson, who by no means is a liberal, said the following on Twitter. Let's go to graphic 12. It's weird that people in the room don't remember Trump using that word when Trump himself was calling friends to brag about it afterwards. I spoke to one of those friends. The president thought it would play well with the base. Going to what you were saying, Cenk, how it's not the bug, it's the feature for some. And then also the Associated Press had reported, citing a person who spoke with the president, the AP reported that Trump doubled down on his reported comments from this week, defending the remark as not racist, but quote, straightforward assessment of the living conditions in the countries discussed.
Okay, so Senators Cotton and Perdue, you stepped in it by trying to defend him by claiming you don't recall what happened at that time, hours ago, right? And now furiously continuing to defend Donald Trump. You don't get it. He's going to admit it at some point. That's what he always does. He goes, no, I didn't necessarily say that. And later he goes, yes, so what? I did say it. But in the meanwhile, you lied for him like an idiot. And now he's going around telling friends, yeah, of course I said it. Oh, so smart, wasn't it? So smart. I got all my racist base to like me again. Because Ann Coulter had yelled at him and Tucker Carlson had yelled at him and saying, what are you doing helping immigrants with the DREAM Act? We don't want to help those kids who are really successful in America. We want to crush their dreams and hopes and send them back to countries they never lived in. And he goes, oh yeah, that's right. My base is a piece of shit. They're deplorables. They're the worst people on earth. So I'll be like them. I'll call these countries shitholes. And then I'll brag about it to my friends. And now that's leaked, and we know he said it. Now, you want to know the funniest excuse of all? Now, allies in the White House are saying, no, he didn't say shithole. He said shit house. That's your excuse?
Oh, that makes
That's your excuse.
That makes it better.
Okay, all right. I'm pretty sure, unfortunately, he's turned the White House into a shit house. We got to get him out, clean that place out completely, okay? You want to talk about, they talked about how Bill Clinton disgraced the office. This guy's an absolute monumental disgrace to all of us as Americans. You got to get him out and then just send in the cleaners to wipe that place. It's become filthy now with the racists that are in there that are defiling the idea of America, our flag, and what we stand for as American citizens. What you just watched was one of the videos that we do today, but we actually do a whole 2-hour show every single day. It's a podcast. You could watch it in video or listen to it as audio. You can download it, you can stream it, and you get it completely ad-free if you could become a member of the Young Turks. TYTnetwork.com/join.